seminar will explore Council's approach to winter maintenance, tackle issues such as weather innovation, flooding, active winter travel, communications and guidance.
And then in this section of planning, it really covers about how we pull together our winter policy and how we pull together an operational plan. Now, I know that everyone that's in the audience today will have a winter service policy and have a winter service plan. What this section helps us to do, myself included, is to just review how we're doing this, making sure that our policies are up to date, that they're signed off by an elected member or whatever your democratic process is within your council. Within your policy, you'd have things like the statute, your contractual arrangements, your network arrangements, and so on. And then the section goes on to talk about the sorts of things you'd have in an operational plan. So these are things like your salt stocks, your storage, your rotors, salt bins, communication, your detailed route planning, and so on.
So these the floods we treat. It's when the rivers are overflowing. And that causes problems across 20 areas in Bradford. You go to the next slide, please. As you can see now, the picture on the right hand side, it's very calm weather now. But what we have done, we have picked out 8 areas in the district and worked with community groups and placed containers, as pictured on the left hand side, with sandbags in there, so local communities can deploy the sandbags if necessary. So one of the tools that we use, quite cheap, ready, anybody can use it, is a program called VentureSki, which gives us a very quick idea of wind direction, atmospheric pressure, and precipitation, which is all very useful for the coastal communities, because also tide. Because if we have low pressure, northerly winds, a very high tide, we're going to have flooding on our coastal communities. And places like, we're talking about towns like Llandudno, Abergele, Kimmel Bay, Towan. These are all communities that have suffered in the past greatly, especially the likes of Towan, where 30 years ago we had the Towan floods. We had 4,500 properties evacuated.
Also, we are expecting the thunderstorms we already get will become heavier and possibly more impactful, and they can develop very quickly. Just looking at the 2 radar pictures there, this was actually during the Toddbrook Reservoir situation that was going on last year. There was a lot of showers in the area, so I took part in a teleconference then. The left-hand radar picture shows some showers developing. The pinks and reds and possibly a white is really heavy rainfall, and not half an hour later, those showers had developed into a very lively line of showers, all headed towards Toddbrook. So they were trying, the police and fire were trying to evacuate people, and were really concerned about people getting caught in this really heavy rain when they were trying to actually evacuate them. So that's how quickly these summer showers can develop.
So I've picked up just 3 examples here I would want to refer to, and it might help put into context some of the items I was talking about. So this is one of our customers. It's that use ProBrine onto their cycle network. It's a priority 1 segregated cycleway that they treat throughout the winter months. They started this last year, where they got some funding to buy a sprayer from Sustrans, and they're able to treat the network. And it was always an area they would want to look at. Obviously, quite a lot of cyclists that would use the network, that would provide feedback that potentially slippy whilst using normal salt, and sometimes the segregated cycleway would be on adjacent to the roadside, and sometimes it would get salted, and sometimes that came off away from the network, and therefore have little or nothing done to it. And obviously, it's implementing it into the priority 1 network would gives it a presence and an importance for the network users as well. So they opted for a ProBrine, which is a corrosion inhibitor infused brine. which it makes it cost effective, but also makes it or low corrosive as well for fragile and metal structures. So we deliver this in IBC, but we also refill these IBCs on demand, so they're saving on the cost of buying a new IBC, but also in production and whatnot of a new IBC as well.
We've got a fleet of, we're just about to replace them actually. We've got dedicated machines on various chassis. APSE and Mercedes are two that I think of, using econ spreaders, pre-wet spreaders. The first thing we found is that they were choking up, the brine was not being released, and that's simply because you've got to check the filters at the back. You can see on the bottom little bit of the picture there's a very small little filter, very simple to remove. You just unscrew it, just flush it through, and then that will ensure that the flow.
Huge thank you to all our speakers today, to you, the delegates, and to Peacock Salt for sponsoring the event. You can find continuing APSE service support via the COVID-19 area on the web.